Do you have a hard time getting organized and then making time to sew? Do sewing projects seem to take forever? Maybe it's because you're nervous about using your sewing machine. Or maybe it's because you have to stop in the middle of every project and run to the fabric store because you forgot something. What if there was a way to sew time efficiently? Well, sewer, you're in luck. Today I'm going to share my 5 tips to save time sewing. Hi, I'm Tony, and this is Sew Lounge. These are the very same 5 tips that I used to sew all of my July makes. I know that they'll help you too. Be sure to stick around until the end for a bonus time-saving tip. Know your sewing machine. Sewing machines are a lot like people. They all have their own personalities. Take the time to get to know yours. Now, you don't have to read the manual if you don't want to. Most machines these days come with a DVD, or you can get on the manufacturer website, check out any videos or how to use, and YouTube's also a really great source. Once you kind of have an idea of the different components and the type of stitches it's capable of, then you can take the time and actually practice those different stitches. Keep in mind the ones you're primarily going to be using are the straight stitch and the zigzag stitch. So mess around with your machine, see what feels comfortable, find a stitch length that's comfortable for you. For me, that's a 2.5, but just take the time to do it, because the more practice you get just using your sewing machine when you're not actually sewing with a particular make in mind, the faster you're going to be able to use it. You know, using the foot pedal, knowing how much pressure to apply to get the needle to move faster or slower is really helpful. And, you know, if you're not comfortable holding the fabric and feeding it through your machine, you can practice that too. Any effort that you make learning your machine will be rewarded when you finally sit down with all your pattern pieces and you're ready to start sewing. This is Bernard. He is my Bernina, and we've been together for quite a while. I got him for my 21st birthday present when I was in the middle of my textile and apparel design program at the University of Texas. Now, we've been through a lot together, and it's only been in the last couple of years that I've actually taken the time to read the manual from cover to cover to figure out all the things he's capable of doing. When I first got Bernard, we spent a lot of time breaking needles because I didn't know I needed to change them. I knew how, I just didn't know that I needed to change needles for different types of fabric. And I only recently learned what great buttonholes he can sew. My point being that if you take the time to learn your machine, you're going to be able to do things a lot faster. And when it comes to buttonholes, practice makes perfect. A lot of machines these days have a good automatic buttonholer. It'll help you make beautiful buttonholes. You just have to learn how to use it. I love my sewing machine so much that back in college, I used to put him on a little cart and take him up to class with me and use him to sew, even though there were plenty of other sewing machines in the sewing lab. And I did the exact same thing when I was in grad school. So it's one of those things that when you get comfortable with a machine, you don't want to sew with any other machine. And taking care of your machine and maintaining your machine means that it will last a lot longer. Now, don't let Bernard hear this. I didn't get him serviced for quite a number of years, which thankfully did not adversely affect him because he's Swiss, so he's built to last. But maintaining your machine and making sure that it's serviced at least once every 2 years at the very least, is the way to keep your sewing machine working well and lasting a lot longer, which will also save time in the long run. Start with a clean and tidy workspace. So this is pretty much what my sewing cabinet looks like right before I start any project. And it all goes downhill from there. No, but seriously, if you start with a clean space and have all of your tools accessible, that's going to save you time in the long run, because you won't constantly be moving things out of the way to make space for your sewing, and you won't be searching for your tools when you need them. They'll just be easily accessible. Now, one of the things I like to use is, this is actually a desk organizer for a pencil. It's on like a little swivel. I saw a friend of mine had hers on Instagram, which was similar, and I was like, oh, this is great to just keep everything very handy so I can grab it when I need it. So I've got my marking pens all in here. I've got some seam rippers. I've got seam gauges over in here, and then some scissors. And it's super handy to just have this up on my table, and that way it's just easily accessible whenever I need it. Now, you may be thinking, well, Tony, you have a sewing room, so of course you have plenty of space. I didn't always have a sewing room. Only had the sewing room for about 4 years. And before that, when I was starting to sew back in college, I had a table with a sewing machine on it set up in half of my bedroom. So I know what it's like to sew in small spaces. When I lived with my grandma, I used to set up my machine on a 50s style TV tray and use that to sew. It's not how much space you have, it's how you use the space that you have. So if you are using a kitchen table, for example, make sure you clean off all the stuff that is not related to sewing so it doesn't get in the way when you're working on your project. Likewise, if you're using your desk in college or, in a study, because that's the amount of space you have, just clear everything off so that you can use your machine the way you need to, and you can get your fabric and your pattern pieces into your machine and then set up your tools so they're nearby. Back in college, I found a great system to organize all my tools and thread on the go. It's a tackle box. Yes, sewing boxes are good and all, but they don't really have all the compartments that a tackle box has. So my suggestion would be to go get one for yourself, and you can keep everything you need in there. I've got all my needles here. I've got an assortment of thread, which will eventually move to the thread cabinet. I've got various tools and notions all in here, and it's just a great way to keep everything in one place, especially if you don't have a lot of space. So I use this for years and years, and even though I have a sewing room, I still keep the bulk of my notions and needles and thread and equipment in here because it's super easy to just, take with me, or put it next to my table, my sewing cabinet, and just open it up. I can just grab what I need. It's super easy to stay organized. And then that makes the whole sewing process faster because I can always find exactly what I need. Do you have any tips that save time when you sew? Leave them in the comments below. I'd love to know what you do. Take the time to plan your sewing projects. How many times have you been in the middle of sewing and realized that you forgot to buy interfacing? It's literally the story of my life. I can't even tell you how many times I've done that. And in fact, I've done it so much that now I have a compulsion about interfacing. And whenever it's on sale at Joann's, I go buy several yards of it just to have on hand, because this is one of those things that I just always forget. When you take the time to plan your sewing projects, it's a good idea to start with the pattern envelope. It's got all the information you need to make sure that you get all the notions and any trims or bias tape or interfacing for your project. And you can do that all from the very beginning. So when you buy your fabric, if you have a particular pattern in mind, make sure you take it to Joann's with you and get everything you need from the beginning. That way, you won't have to stop in the middle of sewing when you realize you didn't buy double fold 1/2 inch bias tape, or worse yet, no interfacing. So funny, not funny story. Yesterday, I was planning to cut out this easy to sew Simplicity kimono jacket, and I had my fabric washed, it's been ironed, it has been put on grain, I had everything ready to lay out. And I realized that when I bought my fabric, I was looking at view C, but I bought the fabric amount for view B. And it's a little hard to see, but view B has contrasting sleeve bands and a neckband, which are in a different fabric, which means that this is not enough yardage. Now, the yardage amount that I got was 3 yards. To make view C, I need 3 7/8 yards. So my whole plan to make this has come to a screeching halt because this is a Japanese fabric that I got from my friends at Leonine Textiles, which is in Smithville, Texas, about 2 hours away from Houston. and I'm not going to be able to just drive up there and get another 7/8 of a yard. So I'm going to have to put this on hold until I can get some more fabric, all because I didn't take the time to read the pattern envelope, which I took to the store with me, so I have absolutely no excuse for doing this, and I just bought the wrong amount of fabric. So don't do that, because now I have to plan a whole new project, and all this time could have been saved if I just read the envelope from the get-go. My next tip is to meticulously transfer the pattern marks to your fabric. Now, this is not a fun job. It's arguably the most boring part of having to sew. And I know how it feels that you finally get your fabric all cut out and you want to just go sit down and sew. But it's better if you stop and mark everything that needs to be marked, because the worst thing in the world is sitting down at your sewing machine, being halfway through your make and realizing that you don't know how to attach something because you forgot to mark it on your fabric. Now, you can use a variety of different marking tools or devices. I really like this Saral wax-free tracing paper. I got this on Amazon. They also sell it at Joann's now, so double bonus there. And I just think it transfers a lot better than the Dritz tracing paper that you can get at Joann's or on Amazon as well. And I use my little handy tracing wheel and just get my marks done. I generally use this for any of the straight lines and stuff because it works really well. Buttonholes, center back, center front, all that good stuff. And then if I need to put in a specific mark, one of those large dot, small dot marks for sleeves and other things, I will either use a chalk pencil or a marking pen. Now, these are washable marking pens, so they will not disappear once you iron them, which I have done that by accident. I accidentally bought the heat erasable ones and I was making a waistband. I ironed in my interfacing and all my marks disappeared. So don't do that, because that's a real waste of time, is marking everything with the wrong kind of pen. So get the regular washable pens. Chalk is good. It does wash out, thankfully. And then the wax transfer paper also washes out. So always test your fabric first to make sure, but for the most part, these all do wash out of most fabrics. Now, this pattern that I'm working on does not have a lot of markings. It really just has the center back marking for the zipper. So it should be pretty quick to get that done and then move on to the fun part, sewing. My last tip is to make dedicated time to sew. No one ever said you had to sew an entire make in one sitting. Now, I like to think of it as blocks of time, and I do certain tasks in those blocks, and it's kind of like batch tasking when you think about it. Before I sit down to sew, I always prep in the same order. I'll wash, dry, and iron my fabric. That's one block or task. Then I'll get the fabric on grain, lay out my pattern pieces, and cut everything out. That's a second block. Next, I'll transfer all the marks from the pattern pieces to my fabric and iron all the interfacing and get it attached. That's a third block. That way, I can do certain tasks in certain periods of time, and I feel like I'm getting more accomplished because I'm not constantly stopping and starting and having to go back and redo things. I just do one thing at a time and then I'm done for the day. And it's a lot easier to work that way. When I sewed 6 makes in July, I had to use my time as efficiently as possible. And one morning I woke up a little bit early and I had some extra time. I know, who has extra time in the morning? But I did one day. And I thought, what can I do in about 15 minutes that would just move this project a little bit further down the line? And I ended up making the ties for this dress in about 15 minutes. And all I did was sew them together. I matched them up, sewed them, and trimmed the seams. I didn't bother about turning them. I didn't bother attaching them to the dress yet. I just got them sewed. And you know what? You can do a lot in 15 minutes. Added bonus tip, one of the things that helped me manage my time when I was sewing so much in July was a TimeCube. Now you can use any kind of a timer you want. I like the little TimeCubes because you can set them to silent and they just flash lights at you. And this one comes in 5, 15, 30, and 60 minutes. So it's a good way to keep track of your time and just say, I'm gonna set it for 15 minutes, I'm gonna set it for 30 minutes, I'm gonna set it for an hour, however much time you have, and then you don't have to think about what time is it, have I run over, anything like that. So it keeps me from looking at my watch, and I just so solid and stay on task because I know that my timer is gonna let me know when its time is up. Those are my 5 tips to save time sewing. How do you save time sewing? I didn't mention it, let me know in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Be sure to click like and subscribe to my channel so you never miss a stitch. Until we meet again, happy sewing! Don't go, there's another great video coming up next. You're definitely going to want to watch this one.